me.
Well, thank you for inviting me in.
No, absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you coming in because I know how busy you are because I've been trying to get you in for months. So.
Yeah, I usually do the school run at this time, see?
Well, do you know what? I have a nightmare getting people on the show because of the school run. It's impossible. But there we go. We're not here to talk about school runs. We're here to talk about homelessness. And let's get straight into it. How bad is it in Bristol?
Well, for each individual person who's affected, it's absolutely awful. And the numbers being affected is rising all the time. I mean, yesterday I was in London at a conference, and on the train on the way back, I had a lady who has got a young son who's, I think, 6 years old, who's been homeless for 14 months, sofa surfing around Bristol, phoning me up, telling me her story, and it's heartbreaking. So there's a danger of looking at the numbers are rising, but each one of those numbers has got a story behind it, usually a very tragic one.
It's quite refreshing to hear you acknowledge and talk about the sofa surfers, because quite often they don't get talked about, do they? Can you put a figure on the amount of homelessness in Bristol?
We can put some figures on it, but they don't count the whole thing. So, right. For instance, from what we know in terms of the counts that have been done, most nights in Bristol at the moment, there's about 100 people sleeping on the streets. We know from what we're doing through the council's housing service, there's about 450 families living in temporary accommodation. But that's always going to be the tip of the iceberg. There's lots of people making their own arrangements, hoping something will turn up, moving around friends' houses, sleeping in cars, sleeping in community centres, churches, you know, so the numbers will never be an accurate reflection of the situation. But what we can say is that the trends are upwards. And we're really, really concerned that the new changes to benefits will mean that more people will be evicted from their accommodation and turn up as homeless.
What changes are you talking about?
The reduction, particularly at this moment, the reduction in the benefit cap, how much people can claim in total for benefits, has been reduced by the government. That's going to affect an extra 1,000 families in Bristol, of which about a quarter of those are living in the private rented sector, and the benefit that they lose if they're deemed to be getting too much